Is Wells Fargo scamming again? Guys, if you are still banking with Wells Fargo, I don't know what to tell you, but we are about to dive into their latest accusation. Let's go ahead and dive into it. What's going on, my YouTube family? It is your favorite stay-at-home millionaire here, Sierra Nicole, and today we are talking about Wells Fargo. Yes, Wells Fargo, the beloved bank. If you guys don't know much about Wells Fargo, this is not the first time that they have been accused of some real shady business. All right. They have been known to discriminate. They have been known to open up fraudulent accounts in order to hit sales quotas. I mean, just look them up and you'll see the long list of lawsuits that are against this company. But today I want to talk about this article that came out this morning from the Daily Mail, and it states that Wells Fargo is accused of scheduling fake job interviews with Black applicants for roles that have already been promised to other candidates to boost its diversity statistics. You guys, this right here is low. Okay, this is low. Now, I actually worked for Wells Fargo for about 2 weeks right after I graduated from high school. And it was probably one of the worst job experiences that I've had, which is why I was only there for 2 weeks. But that is besides the point. Now, you guys know, especially in today's climate, a lot of companies are trying to hit these diversity quotas. They want to be seen as socially responsible, okay, and just having a diverse team, hiring more minorities. A lot of companies probably assume that that is going to make them look a lot better, right? Versus actually caring about the state of certain minority rights and things like that. They're not really doing much about that, right? But optics, right? You want it to look good. And so they are being accused by a former Wells Fargo wealth management executive, Joe Bruno. He claims that the bank is doing fake interviews with Black candidates. And this really just breaks my heart to know that, because it takes a lot of resources to go to a job interview, right? You have to get there, you have to pay for gas, you have to drive there. If you have kids, you have to get childcare, you have to have clothes. If you don't have clothes to wear, you have to buy new clothes. It's just a lot that goes into preparing for a job interview. So that sucks that people were interviewing for jobs that they were never going to even be considered for. Now let's look into what they're saying. The bank adopted a formal policy that required diverse candidate be interviewed for any positions that racked in over $100,000 a year. Interesting. And that is because the CEO has pledged to increase diversity following the murder of George Floyd in June 2020. Wow. I guess the person who came out and said this said that he was fired last August after he blew the whistle to his bosses about the bank's alleged fake interviews, which he described as inappropriate, morally wrong, and ethically wrong. And this is not surprising. I mean, most companies, even though they're supposed to be against retaliation, if you come out and expose things like this, they are 9 times out of 10 going to retaliate against you. He said that he was instructed to conduct interviews with Black candidates for the lower paying financial advisor and financial consultant positions, despite the fact that he and his superiors already picked somebody for that job. Wow. Bruno told the Times that at a certain point, he refused to conduct the interviews, telling his bosses, I got a Black person on the other side of the table who has no shot at getting a job, and says that he was let go in retaliation for speaking up. Like I said, I know that this is not uncommon. A spokesperson for Wells Fargo, Rochelle Burton, also denied the fake interview claims, telling Times in an email statement, to the extent that individual employees are engaging in the behavior as described by the New York Times, we do not tolerate it. Burton says that in 2020, the bank hired nearly 26,000 people, and 77% of them were not white men, and 81% of the 30,000 new hires in 2021 were not white men. She does not specify what percentage of those new hires were for jobs that paid more than $100,000. I can almost guarantee that the 77% that were given to what are seen as minorities we're probably not the $100,000 a year jobs. Okay. Like I said, these companies just want to look good for the optics. They want to hit their quota for minorities. And this is what they are doing, unfortunately. But like I said, with Wells Fargo, this is not the first time they've been seen doing some real shady stuff towards minorities, okay? And if you are looking for a different bank, first off, any bank is probably better than going to Wells Fargo. Just, I can almost guarantee you that, okay? But good banks to bank with. Number one, I typically always go to my local credit union or a mid sized bank. The reason why I choose local credit unions or mid sized banks over these larger corporations like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, all of those companies. The reason why I prefer them is because one, a lot of people don't realize that banking is about relationship, all right? Yes, is a bank in it to make money? Of course, a bank is a business. Now, when you are doing business with a company, there is typically a benefit to both sides, right? The company is making money and the customer is getting some type of value in exchange. Now, in my experience, local credit unions or mid sized banks, it becomes a little bit easier to build that relationship because they are a smaller institution. So they care about knowing their customers. The people that work there care about their customers. You can typically build a good relationship with them. And as you are putting more money into your account, you're using their banking products, they are likely to be a little bit more generous when it comes to lending out money for car loans, business loans, credit cards, and things like that. And the qualifications for those lines of credit or loans are typically not as difficult to get qualified for in comparison to these larger banks like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase. And a lot of these smaller banks do have programs for minorities or for minority owned businesses in order to help them thrive and advance financially. Now, obviously, a bank like Wells Fargo and a track record that Wells Fargo has, I would not believe anything that they say in regarding to trying to help any minority communities. There are also some Black owned banks that you can take a look at as well, and some online banks like different fintechs. Now, when you are looking for a bank, depending on your situation, one bank may be better than the other, which is why I don't tend to just come on and say, hey, just come join these banks. Depending on what you're doing, one bank may be better. So, for example, if you are a business owner, there may be some banks that are better for business owners in your area. Or if you work a 9 to 5 and you have different retirement accounts that you care about, maybe another bank will be better for you. But like I said, start locally. Look at where you live at and look at some of your local banks. It's really good to go in there, go in person to open up your account, talk with the people who are in there, start building up that relationship because you never know who that person knows and you never know what doors that can open up for you, especially if you're a business owner or entrepreneur. You don't know what that connection can do for you. So having that relationship with the person who works at a bank, it goes a long way. But yeah, that this is what's going on with Wells Fargo right now. Like I said, nothing new. I don't recommend them. I've never recommended them. Like I said, I've worked for them for it was like 2 weeks when I had just graduated high school, and it was just not a pleasant experience. You can look up their big lawsuit that they've had with creating fraudulent accounts because their salespeople have so much pressure on them to hit these certain quotas. They were advising their employees to open up accounts under people's name without their permission, pretty much, in order to hit these quotas. Obviously, that's illegal and just really unethical. And so they have been caught with so many unethical practices. It really surprises me that anybody, but let alone any minorities, are still banking with this institution, guys. So, like I said, if you are looking for a new bank to join, check out some of these smaller banks in your area. Some banks that I like, Navy Federal is a great one, but you do have to be invited or have an access code in order to apply for an account. But banks like Truist, if you guys don't know what Truist is, it is basically BB&T and SunTrust. They joined in a merger and they became one big bank. They're still considered a mid-sized bank, but that is also another institution that I bank with. And then, like I said, there are tons of online fintechs and other local banks that you can check out. That'll definitely be beneficial for you. But really, any banking with anybody outside of Wells Fargo is probably going to be more beneficial than actually being with Wells Fargo. So that is what we got for you guys today. If you are interested in entrepreneurship, making money, all that good stuff, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any more content. Of course, this is your favorite stay-at-home millionaire here, Sierra Nicole. Drop your comments, questions, concern down below. Let me know. Have you guys had any experiences with Wells Fargo? Was it good? Was it bad? Let's talk about it in the comment section. But that's all that we got for you guys for today's video. I'm going to catch you on the next one.